All right, so are you ready to really dive deep into innovation today?
Always up for a deep dive, especially when it comes to innovation. What are we thinking about today?
Well, we're tackling this big question. Are companies, missing out on huge EE growth because they just don't really get what their customers need?
Ah, the age-old question.
Yeah.
And I am assuming we have some thought-provoking answers for our listeners today.
You bet. We're diving into Mike Boysen's work. He's that innovation expert who helps businesses see those hidden paths to real growth.
Oh yeah, I've come across some of this stuff. He doesn't just throw around buzzwords, does he?
No, not at all. He's got this practical framework, the jobs to be done method. It really challenges how we think about products and markets in a good way.
Jobs to be done. Okay, I'm intrigued. It's one of those names that is both familiar and also makes me wonder if I actually understand it. Break it down for me.
Okay, so imagine this. Instead of fixating on the product you're selling, you shift your focus to the underlying need, the desire driving your customers' actions.
It's about the WHY behind the what.
I like that.
Exactly. Boysen uses this super interesting example about milkshakes. So there's this fast food chain, right? And they want to totally boost their milkshake sales.
Milkshakes. Who doesn't love a milkshake? Sounds like a problem I wouldn't mind having. So what do? Focus group, taste tests.
Yeah, well, they did the typical market research thing at first, asking customers what they liked about their milkshakes, what they'd improve, you know the drill.
Okay, I see where this is going. Focusing on the milkshake itself and not the reason behind the purchase. Am I right? You got it. Turns out a big chunk of their milkshake sales were happening early in the morning.
Interesting. Not the time I'd usually crave a milkshake, but okay. So it wasn't about the milkshake then.
Exactly. These commuters weren't craving a sweet treat. They were hiring that milkshake to do a very specific job.
Okay, you got to tell me, what was the job?
The job was to make their morning commute bearable. They wanted something filling, easy to eat in the car, maybe even something to make that boring drive a bit more fun.
So the milkshake, at that moment, was competing with bananas, bagels, even boredom. That's brilliant.
Right, it's like a total mind shift. By understanding that job, they could come up with even better solutions.
A more convenient container for the car, maybe a breakfast blend, milkshake with extra protein or fiber. The possibilities explode when you get the job.
Okay, that is a light bulb moment for me. So how does this jobs to be done play out in other industries? Give me a real-world scenario.
Let's talk about Scion Toyota's now defunct brand that was supposed to be for, young adults, right?
Okay, yeah, I remember Cyan. What happened there? They just missed the mark.
They really did. See, they thought they were selling affordable, stylish cars, but they totally misunderstood the job their target audience was actually looking for.
Okay, I'm guessing young adults weren't just looking for basic transportation. What was that deeper need?
Young adults, they crave identity, a way to express themselves, to stand out. They wanted a car that reflected their personality, not just got them to work.
Ah, so it wasn't enough for the car to just be stylish. It had to say something about the person driving it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But their marketing focused on affordability, fuel efficiency. Important, but not exactly tapping into the emotions, right?
It's like highlighting how practical a cool leather jacket is, but forgetting to mention its style and attitude.
And guess what? Sales dwindled, and Toyota eventually had to discontinue the brand.
Wow, a cautionary tale for sure. Misunderstanding the job can have some real consequences. Okay, I'm hooked on this concept. So understanding the job is step one. What other key insights does Boysen offer? How do companies actually use this jobs to be done framework?
So one of the biggest things Boysen emphasizes is mapping the entire customer journey, not just the steps where your product is involved. He calls it looking beyond the consumption chain.
Consumption chain. Okay, that's intriguing. Break that down for me a bit more.
Sure, companies can get so focused on their OWN product or service that they totally miss the bigger picture,
Right, like tunnel vision.
Okay.
You're competing with other companies in your little bubble, but not necessarily with everything else out there.
Exactly. You might think you're competing with other companies in your industry, but really, you're competing with any solution that helps the customer get that same job done.
All right, I need an example here. This consumption chain idea is super interesting, but I need to see it in action.
Let's say you're a company that makes those high-end coffee makers. You'd think your competition is other fancy coffee maker brands, right?
Right, the usual suspects. So what's the bigger picture here? What am I missing?
The bigger picture is that the job isn't just about making coffee. It's about that whole ritual, that experience. It's starting my day with the perfect cup of coffee, right? So suddenly, Your competition isn't just other coffee makers.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. Walk me through this. What else is in the running?
Think about it. Local coffee shops, single-serve pods, even those fancy instant coffee brands popping up everywhere. Suddenly, your $300 coffee maker is up against a $5 latte down the street.
Wow, that is a whole new way of looking at it. It's like you're not just selling a coffee maker anymore. You're selling an experience, a feeling, a ritual.
And that's where the real opportunity is. Focus only on the coffee maker part, and you miss a world of innovation potential.
Mind blown. It's like we've peeled back a layer of the business onion and found a whole new level of complexity and opportunity.
And we're just getting started. Boysen dives even deeper into mapping that customer journey, identifying those non-traditional competitors lurking in the shadows.
Oh, non-traditional competitors. You can't just leave me hanging with a teaser like that. Tell me more. Who are these mysterious rivals, and why should companies be paying attention?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. Sometimes your biggest competition, it comes from places you'd least expect.
Okay, now you have to elaborate on that. This is why I love these deep dives. Spill the tea. Who are these unexpected rivals?
Imagine this. A non-traditional competitor is that friend of a friend who shows up at a party and steals the show. You didn't even invite them, but suddenly everyone's gravitating towards them.
Okay, I love that analogy. It's like they're disrupting the party, but in a good way, shaking things up and making everyone rethink their assumptions.
Exactly. And in the business world, those party crashers can be total game changers. They come in with a fresh perspective, a different way of doing things. Established companies, they often don't even see them coming.
Give me some concrete examples. What does this look like in reality?
All right, picture this. You're a traditional taxi company. You've been cruising around the city for years. You know all the shortcuts. Life is good.
And then, bam. Ride-sharing apps enter the scene. Talk about a party foul from the taxi industry's perspective, right?
A classic example of non-traditional competition in action. Suddenly you've got Uber and Lyft swooping in, offering a more convenient, often cheaper service, all through a user-friendly app.
And they completely disrupted the taxi industry. Those companies probably thought they were only competing with other taxi companies, right?
It's like they were so focused on the car that they totally missed the ride revolution happening right under their noses. And that's the danger. Not understanding the full scope of the customer's job, not recognizing those non-traditional competitors lurking around the corner.
So how can companies avoid falling into that trap? How do you even begin to identify these potential disruptors who might be coming in from left field?
Boysen suggests a few key things. First off, stay laser-focused on the customer and their evolving needs. What worked yesterday doesn't mean it'll work tomorrow.
So it's about constant adaptation, right? Challenging your assumptions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, what got you here won't get you there. The business world, always changing, and companies need to be agile, responsive.
Makes sense. Anything else they can do to stay ahead of the curve?
Embrace that beginner's mindset. Don't be afraid to question everything, even your most deeply held beliefs about your industry, your customers.
I love that. It's like taking off your industry blinders, looking at everything with fresh eyes.
Precisely. And sometimes those fresh eyes belong to your customers themselves. Boysen is all about really talking to your customers, not just about your product, but about their lives, their frustrations, what they're striving for.
Really listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, right? Because sometimes the most valuable insights, they come from those unexpected places.
100%. Those insights, they're often the key to unlocking new innovation, even identifying those non-traditional competitors before they become major threats.
He's all so insightful. It's like Boysen's giving us the ultimate playbook for navigating the ever-changing world of innovation.
He really is. And here's another gem he drops. Circumstances are the events and trends in people's lives that cause them to change their behavior.
Okay, circumstances. Break that down for me. Why are circumstances so important in this whole equation?
Think of it this way. Circumstances, they're like catalysts for change. The things that make people reevaluate their needs, look for new solutions, like the boom in online grocery deliveries during the pandemic.
Ah, yes. COVID. Talk about shaking things up. Suddenly, ordering your groceries online wasn't just convenient. It was essential for a lot of people.
Exactly. The pandemic created a circumstance where people's behaviors, their needs, shifted drastically. Companies already in the online grocery delivery space, they were set.
While others were left scrambling to adapt, right? Circumstances, they can be opportunities or are threats, depending on how prepared you are.
Exactly. That's why Boysen talks about understanding your customers' current jobs to be done and anticipating how those jobs might change in the future. based on changes in circumstances.
So thinking ahead, being proactive, trying to anticipate those what-if scenarios.
Precisely. Companies that are killing it at innovation, they're often one step ahead, ready to meet the customer's needs before they even realize they have them.
Like Wayne Gretzky said, skate to where the puck is going, not where it has been. But in this case, it's innovate for where the customer is going, not where they've been.
You got it. And that brings us to another big idea from Boysen. Customers often cobble together solutions from different places to get their jobs done.
Ah, yes, the cobbled solution. We touched on that earlier. Remind me why this concept is so crucial for companies to grasp.
Think about it. In a perfect world, customers would have one elegant solution for every need, right? But real life, not so simple.
Life's messy, what can you say?
Exactly. So often, customers end up piecing together solutions from different products and services, even if they aren't ideal or seamlessly integrated.
Okay, give me a real-world example to illustrate this.
Let's say your job to be done is staying organized and on top of your work. You might use a physical planner, a task management app, sticky notes covering your desk, maybe even a whiteboard on the wall to track projects.
Oh, that sounds painfully familiar. My organizational style is definitely more cobbled together than streamlined efficiency.
And that's the reality for a lot of people. But here's the thing. Boysen says these cobbled solutions, they're actually gold mines for innovation.
So those workarounds, those cobbled together solutions, they're not just signs of customer frustration, right? They're like a roadmap to unmet needs.
Exactly. They're practically begging for innovation, a company that really gets jobs to be done. They look at those cobbled solutions and see a chance to offer a more integrated, seamless way to get the job done.
So instead of juggling a planner, sticky notes, and a whiteboard to stay organized, there could be one platform that does it all.
Precisely. You go from selling individual products to offering valuable solutions that make life easier, which means customers are way more likely to choose you.
This has been eye-opening. Boysen's Jobs to be Done framework feels like that secret decoder ring for innovation. We've talked about understanding the job, mapping the customer journey, those non-traditional competitors, and the power of cobbled solutions. Anything else we need for our innovation toolkit?
One more thing, and it's a big one. Even when you've nailed the job, the journey, the competition, unlocking true innovation, it's about understanding the emotional side of the job.
Now you're speaking my language. We're all emotional creatures deep down.
Yeah.
How do emotions play into this?
Think about it. Every job to be done has some deeper emotional need or desire behind it. Take buying a luxury car. Yeah, the job is getting from A to B in style and comfort.
But it's more than that, right? It's status, feeling successful, maybe even belonging to a certain group.
Exactly. They're buying that feeling of success, confidence, being admired. Those are emotional drivers that go way beyond basic transportation.
So how can companies tap into that emotional layer, design products that resonate on a deeper level?
That's the million-dollar question. Boysen says it starts with empathy. Really understanding your customers' desires, motivations, what frustrates them. It's asking not just what and how, but why.
Seeing your customers as people, not just numbers on a spreadsheet.
Exactly. When you connect with customers on that emotional level, you create products that don't just solve problems, they speak to their hearts.
Yeah.
That's how you build loyalty and unlock real growth.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've gone from the basics of jobs to be done to seeing it play out in the real world.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Boysen's work is packed with insights for anyone who wants to innovate and grow.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to walk away with? The nugget of wisdom to spark their own innovation journey.
Never stop asking why. Why are they choosing your product? What job needs to get done? What are their motivations, their frustrations? What are they hoping for? Those answers, those are the seeds of groundbreaking innovation.
Love it. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. What job is your company really being hired to do? Are you innovating in a way that shows you truly understand your customers? Until next time, keep those innovation engines running.